Hey, what's up, and welcome back to ByStephieNics. So today we're going to be doing a little hair tools showdown. It's a battle between the cult classic Revlon hot air brush and the new and improved L'Oreal Steampod 3.0. This guy is so popular because it is fast, pretty easy to use, and way less damaging than a regular flat iron. It emits hot air through the little holes here, and that's how it styles your hair. You never have like plates clamping on your hair. I don't wear my hair straight that often, so I haven't used this in quite a while, so we're gonna do a little return to this for me and check out how I feel about it now. And then our opponent in this corner is the L'Oreal Steampod 3.0. I'm pretty sure that the first couple versions were only available in Europe. 3.0 is new to the US, so this is like a brand new product to the country. Why this one is in the battle today is because it's also supposed to be way less damaging than a regular flat iron, even though it kind of looks like one. What sets this apart is that it is powered by steam, whatever that means. I can't explain it, but it's got a little water tank in here. When it turns on, you'll hear in a moment, it like bubbles up like a steam iron, because it is a steam iron. I've only tested this on a couple strands so far. It has majorly impressed me, and I thought it'd be super cool to do kind of a half head battle between these two less damaging heat tools and see which one reigns victorious. So if you guys are interested to see this product battle, let's get into it and start with the Revlon. Let's go. So we're gonna be starting off with the Revlon brush on this side. I've got my hair clipped up so that it stays wet. This side is dry, and we're gonna be clipping this up to keep it out of the way so that we can hit it with the Steampod later. Just gonna re-wet this a bit. Now that we've got it wet and prepped, I'm gonna clip up most of it to just leave a small section to start with. I have a lot of hair and it's really thick, so I always work in sections. The brush has two heat settings, low and high. I always like to start on low for a few passes, and then I switch to high just to, finish it off. For my hair, it does take a bunch of passes with the brush, as you see, but the final result that you get is really nice and smooth. Something that's a little annoying about the Revlon brush is that the bristles kind of catch onto hair that's clipped away. So that can kind of bring in hair that you've already straightened or start pulling in hair that hasn't been done yet. So that can get a little bit annoying. And here's our final reveal from the Revlon brush. Everything is nice, straight, and smooth. I was able to achieve some movement here on the end by just rolling in the brush. I love how my hair still looks so thick even though it's straightened. It's not perfectly sleek, but then again, my hair is really impossible to get a sleek result from blow drying. But the Revlon brush does a way better job than a regular blow dryer ever would, so I've gotta give them that. But that's the result from the Revlon side, and now let's move on to the Steampod. And here we go. We've got the L'Oreal Steampod. It's white, it's very futuristic looking, and right back here, this is the little section where you put the water. That's what's gonna steam power the iron. I'm gonna turn it on right now. It's got 3 heat settings, 350, 390, and 410. I'm gonna put it on the middle section, 390. While that's heating up, I'm going to just clip up this side and let down the other. You can hear the steam. So cool. Ooh, forgot how curly this side looked. So this side is all dry and ready to be styled. So again, we're going to section out a little section at the bottom. We're gonna see what this iron can do. Okay, so we've got our first section here, and I'm just finger combing it to make sure that there are no tangles at all. There's a comb attached here on the iron. It's actually really cool. It helps the iron to give just a much sleeker, straighter result, but it's gonna get caught on any tangles that you have in your hair, so you have to make sure that it's really smooth before you get started. So once that's all nice and ready, we can get to ironing. There are 2 little arrows here pointing down, which just shows that this is the direction that you have to iron in. Sometimes it's a little awkward. I want to be holding it the opposite way, but you just follow what they say. You do what you gotta do. Arrows pointing down. I'm just going to slide the iron in as close to the roots, clamp it. It's gonna give you that sound, which is a little scary, but it's all good. And then you just slowly bring it down. Once I get towards the bottom, I just kind of bend it inwards to give a nice movement on the bottom. Still going nice and slow. And there we go. Oh my god. I really can't get over how smooth my hair feels after using the Steampod. I don't know if you guys can tell how shiny and sleek and smooth it is. It's unbelievable. I could never get that with 1 pass from a flat iron. My goodness. It just feels so healthy. Wow. Okay, let's move on to the next piece. Just smooth out the section, clamp the iron as close to the roots as possible, slowly bring it down, And then once you're towards the bottom, just angle it slightly inwards to get that nice movement on the bottom. Easy as that. Such a nice, sleek result. And it feels so smooth. And for the final result from the L'Oreal Steampod, here we go. It feels so soft, so healthy, so sleek, and then I love these little curls at the bottom. This was my first time playing around with getting a curl on the bottom using this Steampod, and I think it did a really good job. I definitely want to play around with it more to see everything it can do, but I like it. Let's take down the other side and we can compare. Here we go. We've got both sides down. I think both look really nice. Before we get into it though, I've got to say that I have a bunch of flyaways frizz there at the top, which always happens when I straighten my hair. But if we're comparing side to side, Revlon has a lot more going on, and that's just because it's really hard to get to the root with the brush. So I'm gonna just tame the frizz a little bit and then we'll continue talking. Okay, that already looks 1,000 times better. Now we can continue. Let's start off with a feel comparison. I'm just going to feel both sides. Both feel smooth, but the L'Oreal definitely has a little advantage. It's like unbelievably soft. The Revlon doesn't feel bad at all, but the winner for smoothness and feel is L'Oreal. Next, let's talk about ease of use. Both tools are kind of big, kind of clunky, but the L'Oreal Steampod, once you get it set at the root, it's really just dragging it right down and one pass, versus the Revlon, where it's like kind of having to pick up the piece, rolling it, going above and rolling it and going back a whole bunch of times. So in terms of how easy it is to like kind of get the hang of this, definitely the L'Oreal is easier to use. And kind of jumping off of that, in terms of time, the L'Oreal side went way faster because it was one pass through each section rather than like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 passes. And it's actually kind of crazy because with L'Oreal's just one pass, this side is so much like thinner and sleeker. The Revlon side, you might actually like this better because it looks more voluminous, but that's because I couldn't get each strand as like thin. So if you like a thicker look, this could totally work for you. For me, I would want to go back with a flat iron on top of this just to, you know, thin it out some. This makes me feel a lot more comfortable. This feels done to me. Kind of seeing a little trend here. Let's talk about one where Revlon definitely is gonna win, and that is price. The Revlon brush costs $60, but on Amazon, I always see this listed for way less, like $45 or $40. So this is definitely a pretty inexpensive hair tool for it to work so well. It's very impressive price. The L'Oreal, on the other hand, for all this interesting high-tech technology, it's gonna cost you $250, which is a little steep. I don't think I would have gone for it, but I bought it during Sephora's big sale, so I got, I think, like 20 or 25% off of it. That was definitely the time to try out this high price item. So if we're just talking like price to price, obviously the Revlon's gonna win, but for value, I don't know, $250 is a lot. We'll give Revlon the win on this one. Now in terms of damage, kind of the whole point of this thing, let's talk about that. Revlon brushes kind of claim to fame is that it's not putting any hot plates on your hair. It's just using hot air going through the holes here to straighten your hair. So it's going to be a lot healthier than the plates of a flat iron. And then the L'Oreal does have plates inside there, so you are clamping your hair, but it is powered by steam, which somehow, some way, they claim is 78% healthier for your hair. That's a big number. So both seem much better for your hair than a normal flat iron, but comparing them to each other, one pass with the L'Oreal versus like a whole bunch of passes with the Revlon with really hot air, I'd say probably overall you're getting much less damage from the L'Oreal. Kind of whatever was saving you from the hot air blowing through there, you're going over it so many times, like, I don't know, it ends up being just a lot of hot air on your hair. I feel like it's already like kind of like getting a little frizzy too. About roots, we kind of already mentioned this, but neither tool can totally get up to your roots, which is a little annoying. This because it's a big old bulky brush, and the L'Oreal because, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a design flaw, but the plates don't go up to the top. So this edge on top of the plate like kind of prevents you from getting all the way to the root, but this gets you a lot closer, and we saw from like kind of like the flyaway test that the L'Oreal does a better job with the roots. Sorry. I mentioned a con about each of them while we were doing our hair. About the Revlon, I talked about the bristles, how it grabs hair from other sections while you're going along. That is really annoying. It was a lot of like reclipping and resectioning, which I edited out, but it adds a lot of time because it keeps grabbing in other hair that you don't want to be working on. And then the L'Oreal, I mentioned that because of the arrows, like it's telling you which direction to hold the iron, and it can be a little like awkward where you want to hold it the other way. I gotta take that back because I got used to it. It took me a few sections, but then it wasn't bothering me anymore. It was just kind of getting used to holding it a way that I wasn't used to. Like when you're at the roots, you can hold it upside down and then bring it down. It really wasn't as big of a problem as it felt like it was at the beginning. I gotta take that back. Finally, one last thing to compare is when you can use the hair tool. The Revlon you have to use on fully wet hair. The L'Oreal is more like a classic hair tool where you use it on fully dry hair. This is probably a preference thing. It might sound amazing to you that you can just style your hair right out of the shower with soaking wet hair. For me, I don't know. I don't like kind of the pressure of like, okay, my hair is wet. I need to quickly style it before it dries at all. Having to use like the little water sprayer thing to keep it wet. I don't know. It's annoying. I think I just prefer the more conventional, you know, wash your hair, let it dry or blow dry it a little bit and then style it. I'm already used to that. I'm fine with it. I don't like the pressure of having to like jump on the wet hair with this. I think that's all the categories that I wanted to talk about with the Revlon brush and the L'Oreal Steampod. Let's take one final look at the two sides. This is our Revlon side. It's straight, it's thick, it's got a little bit of movement on the bottom, but it does feel like kind of really thick, a little too thick for me. And then on the L'Oreal side, we've got a much sleeker look. We've got real curls on the bottom. I have them all going in this direction, but definitely I could play with that to get it to go the other way. Just a learning curve type of thing. But this feels like it's not gonna like blow up as soon as I walk outside into the humidity. It feels like set. I think from my comments there and from all those category wins from L'Oreal, you know what the winner is for me, and that is the L'Oreal Steampod. The only downside is that pretty steep price, but I'd say if you can get this on sale, or if you know you want to splurge a little bit on a less damaging hair tool that is really very quick and gives an amazingly sleek result, I would totally recommend the L'Oreal Steampod 3.0. Finally, I do have to say though that I think the Revlon brush is a good hair tool, probably just not for me. If you've got lots of hair, thick hair, hard to heat style hair, this probably just isn't gonna cut it. But if your hair is a little easier to manage, this is probably a really great time-saving tool because you won't have to go through it as many passes. Plus it's way cheaper, so definitely worth a try. Whew! That was a full deep dive into these hair tools. Both will be linked down below, so you can definitely check these out, pick them up if you're interested. If you enjoyed this little product battle, make sure to leave a like on this video. It really helps me out, so I'd appreciate it. Thank you. If you want to stick around and catch more of my future videos, I'm inviting you to join the ByStephieNics fam. We have fun here. We would love to have you. All you gotta do is just click the big red subscribe button below, and right next to it there's a notification bell. You just gotta ring that bell and I'll give you notifications sent straight to your phone every time I post a new video. I hope you guys had a fun time with me today. I hope this was informative and helped you out. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And as always, this is ByStephieNics.